Ladies and gentlemen, there's a moment in every person's journey when you start to feel the wind at your back. You've been grinding in the dark. You've been fighting battles no one saw. You've been walking through storms with no umbrella, just faith. And then, for the first time, you see light. You get a small win, a breakthrough, a glimpse of what you've been chasing. And your first instinct? To shout it, to tell the world, look at me now. Hey, I made it. I told you I would. But I came here to tell you today, don't be so fast to announce your success. Because that moment, that first sign of progress, that's not the victory. That's the test. See, anybody can smile when things start going their way. Anybody can post a picture with a caption that says, boss moves. But let me ask you this, can you stay focused when the spotlight hits? Can you stay hungry when the applause begins? Because real success isn't about a moment. It's about consistency. It's not about the climb. It's about staying on top when the mountain winds try to throw you off. You can't build a legacy off a single good day. You can't build a reputation on a whisper of greatness. You got to build it brick by brick, day after day, with no one watching, no one clapping, just you, your grind, and your vision. Let me ask you, are you announcing a harvest when you've only planted seeds? Because the world doesn't pay for intentions. It pays for results. And listen, there are people out there watching your every move, not to support you, but to see if you'll slip. If you give them your victory speech before you've even crossed the finish line, they'll be the first to use your words against you. Don't hand out invitations to a celebration that hasn't happened yet. Don't light fireworks on potential. You want to know the real flex? It's letting your results speak so loud you don't have to say a word. It's walking into a room and having your work introduce you before you open your mouth. It's showing up silent and being remembered forever. You don't have to scream success when you live it. The world will see it. The world will feel it. So build in silence. Work in silence. Win in silence. And when it's time, the world will know, not because you told them, but because you showed them. Don't announce your harvest when you've only planted seeds. In life, there's a dangerous temptation to celebrate too early. The moment we get a glimpse of progress, a taste of potential, or a pat on the back, we start acting like we've already crossed the finish line. But planting a seed is not the same as reaping the harvest. Planting is just the beginning. It's the declaration of intent, not the completion of the journey. You haven't grown the tree yet. You haven't weathered the storms, the droughts, or the long nights that test whether that seed will even survive, let alone thrive. You see, seeds are fragile. They require patience. They need protection. They demand nurturing in silence and in the dark. There is a process happening underground long before anything visible reaches the surface. And that's the mistake many people make. They think because they've made a move, they're already moving. They think because they've started, they've already succeeded. But real growth takes time. Real success takes struggle. And you don't get to harvest what you haven't proven you can protect. Announcing your success too soon invites pressure, distractions, and worst of all, critics. People don't always celebrate your growth. Some wait for your failure. And when you proclaim success before it's fully formed, you give people the power to judge your journey before it's complete. You invite judgment on an unfinished product. The world isn't kind to dreamers who speak too early. They'll mock your ambition when it's still fragile. They'll challenge your vision before it's even had time to root. So if you've just planted the seed, an idea, a goal, a plan, a new habit, don't rush to tell everyone. Hold it close. Nurture it in silence. Prove it in private. Let it grow roots so deep that no storm can shake it. Because growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the soil. It happens in obscurity. It happens when no one's watching and you're still showing up. You don't need validation for planting the seed. That's your personal decision, your private commitment. The applause isn't meant for the start of the race. It's reserved for those who endure. So be patient. Keep your head down. Water your dream with discipline. Protect it from the noise. Work on it until it no longer needs defending. until it speaks for itself. The world will see the tree when it's tall enough to rise above the fence. But until then, keep your hands in the dirt. Keep showing up. Keep trusting the process. The seed doesn't care about attention. It only cares about the environment you create for it. And the truth is, nobody claps for the planting, but it's the planting that determines the future. Let your results speak louder than your words. In a world overflowing with noise, where everyone is quick to talk about what they're going to do, who they're going to be, and what they plan to achieve, silence has become underrated. But silence backed by action is power. Real power. It doesn't need decoration. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't try to convince anybody. It proves everything without saying a single word. The loudest person in the room isn't the most powerful. It's usually the most insecure. The person with the most to prove often has the least accomplished. That's why you must make a decision early in your journey. Do you want to impress people, or do you want to impact the world? Because those are two different roads. You don't need to tell the world your plans if you're willing to show them your results. You don't need to announce every step of your journey if your destination is undeniable. People respect what they can see. They respond to evidence. And in this era of social media where everyone is curating highlights and fabricating greatness, truth stands out. Results can't be faked for long. You can borrow words, you can copy trends, but you can't manufacture work ethic, discipline, or the relentless pursuit of mastery. Those things leave fingerprints. They leave a trail. And eventually, they produce fruit. Tangible, undeniable fruit. When you let your results speak, you never have to justify yourself. You never have to explain what you're working on or why you're different, because the people who truly win in life don't chase approval, they chase growth. They don't waste energy convincing the world they're going to make it. They spend every ounce of themselves becoming someone who can't be ignored. They understand that the scoreboard matters more than the speech, that the execution matters more than the explanation, and that greatness is never self-proclaimed, it's revealed. See, talk can be cheap when it's not backed by grind, and people will cheer you for your promises, but they'll only follow you for your results. You can inspire people with words, yes, but you lead them with results. You earn their trust not by shouting louder, but by building better. You earn respect not by declaring your greatness, but by demonstrating your value. That's how legacies are made, not from announcements, but from achievements. You have to understand something deep. There's a time for speaking, and there's a time for building. And the building comes first. You don't lay a foundation with your mouth, you lay it with your actions, your sacrifices, your late nights and early mornings. You lay it when no one is around to celebrate you. You lay it when you feel like giving up but choose not to. Every time you do the work when it would be easier to talk about it. That's when you build power, and that power grows in silence. Some of the most successful people in the world didn't make noise until the world couldn't ignore them anymore. They didn't go around telling everyone, "Watch me." They just worked, studied, trained, built, improved until they became the person worth watching. That's what you do when you're serious. You stop looking for external confirmation and start building internal credibility. You make a commitment to yourself that no one else has to understand. You set a standard and then you live by it. Day in and day out, whether the cameras are on or not. Letting your results speak doesn't mean you lack confidence. It means your confidence runs so deep you don't need applause to fuel it. It means you trust the process enough to stay quiet. You believe in your ability to finish, so you don't have to broadcast your start. You're not performing for people. You're preparing for purpose. And you know that in due time, when the work is done, your results will shout what your words never could. Every minute spent talking about your dreams could be a minute spent working on them. Every post, every boast, every update might feel good in the moment, but it drains your momentum if it's not backed by progress. You don't need people to believe in your plan as long as you believe in your discipline, because discipline creates results. And results don't need marketing. They create their own echo. They inspire, they lead, they elevate. And here's something else. When you let your results speak, your circle changes. The right people, people who are driven, focused, grounded, they're not drawn to hype. They're drawn to substance. They don't care how good your pitch sounds. They want to know, can you deliver? Can you finish what you started? Can you endure? When you build your reputation on results, not rhetoric, the world opens up in ways no speech ever could. And sometimes the best way to gain power is to remain silent until it's undeniable, until your presence is felt before you walk into the room, until your name carries weight because of what you've done, not what you said you would do. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become respected. That's when your life becomes a living testimony, not because of your talk, but because of your walk. So when others are busy talking about where they're going, you just keep going. When they're announcing their goals, you keep grinding in silence. When they're chasing followers, you chase excellence. Let your hustle be quiet. Let your standards be high. Let your results speak for you. Because when they do, nobody can argue with the truth.